Hello and welcome to Angel's Wisdom with Jane Francis. This is going to be your monthly reading for the month of May. May, the 5th month of this year. Fives are about transformation, about change, about realignment. They also carry some pretty wild vibrations and some unpredictable energy. So it's always good for you to really focus when you are in the 5th month. Fives also represent the spiritual self struggling to learn how to express itself in human form. So when you get fives, that means your soul is trying to communicate with you and trying to express through you. And one of the ways that the soul does that is through change. Okay, let's get started with our Angel Tarot. Don't want to leave any cards behind. And in case people didn't know, this was the very first tarot deck that I ever picked up and learned on. This was my learn how to read tarot card deck. Although I'd been reading oracle cards for years, this was my first exploration into tarot. Not this particular deck, because this is like my 5th deck because I wear them out. All right. And we get the 7 of Water. 7 of Water. Now, interestingly enough, the 7 of Water came up in the tarot reading last month. And it is about choices. What choices are you going to make? What decision do you want to focus on? 7 of Water talks about there are many things that interest you. And that's probably true. You need to really choose something to focus on in particular instead of scattering your energy quite so much. This is an invitation for you to make a decision. And if you look, we have some cups here because this is also called the Suit of Cups. And we have some lights shining from them. So perhaps what you might want to think about doing is paying attention to the things that light you up the most. What lights you up and kind of sparks your interest? And that is one of the things that you want to focus on. And we know that there can be many things that light you up and that you feel you'd like to focus on. But this is an invitation for you for this month to choose one of those and really kind of do a deep dive into it, because here we are in the Suit of Water, and water is the invitation to dive in, to really kind of swim in and soak up all that energy that is inspiring you. Okay, 7s also represent the need to go within. They're about assessing your progress, focusing on your inner awareness, and really kind of paying attention to what's going on within you. Next, we have a Trust Your Vibes Oracle card. Trust Your Vibes by Sonia Chaquette. All right, angels, what would you like to share with us for the month of May? May, the month where we honor and celebrate mothers, not only our own possible motherhood, and if you have not had children, if you were a mother figure for any of your relatives or any other younger person. And it is also the month where we have Memorial Day and we celebrate that. Let's see what the angels want. Of course, I was talking about mothers and mentors of people and role models, and then the angels chose that. I often wonder how they get me to say some of the things I say, because it did not occur to me that this is the month of mothers, that we honor and celebrate mothers, and then we have mentors and role models that show up. Okay, so I love how that works. I love how spirit works. And if you have not personally birthed a child and raised a child, please know that in some way you have mentored and mothered or nurtured or inspired some people. And it's a perfect time to not only honor yourself, but also honor your own mother. Okay, well, let's see. Let's focus on what that number 18 is trying to tell us. We have a 1, which is all about you, about the self. It's about a new beginning. It's about the divine presence. 1 is also a number to remind you that you can choose to live in oneness with all that is. And then we have the number 8. And the number 8 is a number about movement and growth and power. It carries very dynamic energy because it moves back upon itself. It moves back and forth and back and forth. The figure 8 is the infinity sign. It is powerful because of its continuous movement. And that is what helps make it a number of success. And then you add the 2 of them together and you get 9. And 9 is also known as the triple triad. It's a powerful number, and the triple triad is because it's 333, and 3 is the number of creation, and then we repeat it 3 times. You've often heard that repeating a statement 3 times adds power to it. That means this triple triad is inviting you to be a power in the life of someone else. And it's interesting that I didn't feel called on to talk about 9 as a conclusion or an ending, but that it is that also, but that's not what we're focusing on with this particular card. Now, because the month of May is a 5, signals change is happening, we are going to use the butterfly oracle cards for life changes. And I thought it was interesting that the angels chose that deck, and then I looked at the deck and it said that. Butterfly oracle cards for life changes. Okay, Spirit, angels, what would you like to show us from this deck? What do we need to know? Spiritual growth. Yay! I love that. This month is a time of spiritual growth. This is a time for you to perhaps focus on what spiritual growth, what sort of thing inspires you and enlightens you and makes you light up, and then follow that. Because anything that you choose to focus on has the potential to bring about spiritual growth. Let's see, it says this card signifies that the change you're currently in the midst of or contemplating is part of your spiritual growth. It will bring about great blessings, even if challenges present themselves along the way. As this experience comes to a conclusion, you'll know that you are very strong indeed. In fact, the situation will push you to leave behind your comfort zone. You'll reach deep inside to a reservoir of strength that you didn't know you had. This strength is both peaceful and powerful and helps you learn new life lessons as well as let go of old pain and forgive your past. Okay, thank you very much for that, angels. We have the potential at all times to move into deep spiritual growth, to bloom and grow with the growth, to transform our lives and grow beyond who we are in this very moment, to bring more of our soul energy into our daily life. And now, next we have conscious spirit. Love that. Conscious spirit. What are you sharing? Third eye chakra. I see the wisdom of my higher self and apply this wisdom in my life. Ooh, lovely. And perhaps you would like to do some exercises to help open and increase your intuitive ability, to increase your connection with the angels and with spirit. And that is basically done through the third eye. That is our connection back to spirit, our imagination and our ability to visualize. That is where we connect with spirit on an ongoing level. And you want to connect with your own higher self, their own soul self. And then allow your soul self to bring into your life exactly what you need for spiritual growth, exactly what excites you and lights you up. That is what this is all about. I love this. Thank you so much, angels, for reminding us that our third eye chakra, right there in the center of our forehead, is our connection back to spirit. And so we want to develop that and allow that to open even wider than it already is. I'm just noticing as I'm looking at this, I'm just noticing that it says number 24. And number 24 adds up to a 6. 6 is the number of peace and harmony. It's also the number of moving forward, of solving problems, of the breakthrough. It's about patience and love. So perhaps developing your third eye will increase all those energies in you. Next, we have the Star Tarot. Let's see what that is going to share with us for this month of May. 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords, we got a number 5 again. 5 talks about change. It talks about transformation and spiritual growth. And when we looked at this spiritual growth, it did say that there could be some challenges. Well, 5 of Swords, which is the suit of air, 5 of Swords reminds us that conflict or challenge is what does bring us to focus on our heart space and to ask for guidance. It invites us. See, we have the star here. We have these swords poking into the heart, and that's a reminder that challenges break open our heart space. They invite us into a deeper connection with spirit and with spiritual growth and to ask for guidance. And I love that we have this big, beautiful green star because green represents the healing energy. I'm noticing that the sword handles all have different colored tips. We have this green one that is talking about the heart chakra. This blue represents the throat chakra. We have the red for getting grounded, our root chakra. And we have the yellow for our personal power, our solar plexus chakra, where we have our personal will. And then, of course, we have the white for spirit, for our crown chakra, and for allowing in the energy that will lead us into healing and growth and being able to speak our truth and be able to acknowledge what we personally desire and to be grounded to the earth, be grounded to our own personal soul path in life. Okay, next we have a Roots and Wing Oracle card. Roots and Wings. What would you like to share with us, angels, from this Roots and Wings message deck? Spiritual guidance. Okay, this month of May seems to be very focused on your spiritual needs, on your spiritual guidance, on your spiritual growth. Here we talked about your spiritual guidance, guiding you for healing and to speak your truth and to be grounded to the earth and to help discover your own personal will of what you want to focus on and what you're passionate about. So tune in and allow your third eye, allow your connection with spirit and with your angels to help guide you into what you need to know to move forward. One of the things you might want to do is ask your angels and guides what you need to do to align with your soul energy, to align with that higher thought. And here we have a feather. Let's just take a quick peek and see what the feather represents. Feathers. Feathers represent ascension, spiritual evolution to a higher plane, freedom and power. Ooh, I love that. So thank you, angels, for that. And thank you, angels, for helping guide us on our spiritual path to fulfill exactly what we are meant to fulfill, what we came here to do. And what we came here to do may not be a grandiose plan. It might be simple. Well, it's a simple idea. Never simple to do, but a simple idea. One of the most powerful purposes that people have come during this lifetime to do is to learn to love themselves. This is a powerful time of loving yourself. And part of loving yourself is about speaking your truth. Part of loving yourself is about being grounded to the earth and affirming, I am here for a purpose and I want to move forward with my purpose. I want to walk my soul path. One of the reasons is because we have a personal will. And when we come here, we have free will. So we have free will to either follow our soul plan or to explore all the human things that glitter and shine and distract us from our soul purpose, from what we wish to do. All right. And look at this. I love this. The top card says, I nurture myself. Yes, we are meant to nurture and love ourselves. And it just interesting that I looked down now and saw I nurture myself after having spoken about self-love. Isn't it interesting what the angels can invite me to say during these little readings? Okay. Angels, what would you like to share with us? And it's back on top. Okay, that's pretty unusual. There's a few cards here and it found its way back to the top, but let's see what the angels want to share other than I nurture myself. I connect with nature today. Ooh, I love that. That's one way to really love yourself, is to get out in nature, to really get grounded to the earth by being out in nature, to be listening to the bird song and to be walking on Mother Earth and to feel her energy moving up through you, to admire the beauty of this earth and to check and see what the animals that cross your path while you're out, what are their spiritual meanings? One of the things I do is like when I come home, I look up what animal, I saw out on the trail and see what it means, what kind, well, I'm not going to see a jaguar, but a dragonfly, like for instance, a dragonfly. A dragonfly crossing your path while you're out in nature could remind you to be on the lookout for any falsehoods, deceit, or illusions that are clouding a current situation. Could mean it's vital to recharge your psychic energy, which you can do by regularly meditating. It could be, additionally, you should be working with the fairies and other elementals. There's a bunch of reasons in here. Dr. Stephen Farmer has a book, and Ted Andrews has a book called Animal Speak that can tell you what the animal that crossed your path. Or, of course, you can always Google and find out what that animal means. All right, I connect with nature today. Now, the other side says, spend time outdoors today. Breathe in the fresh air. Relax under a tree. Take in the whole sky. Notice that nature isn't judging you. Whew, that's one of the most relaxing things about being out in nature. There's no one and nothing judging you while you're out and enjoying all the gifts and beauty that Mother Nature brings. Okay, so choose to spend some time outdoors. Choose to spend some time in nature. And if you have extreme inclement weather and cannot get outdoors, but although in the month of May, that's probably not going to be a difficult thing. But if you were to want to spend time in nature and you cannot get outdoors, you can tune into the National Geographic station or watch a YouTube video or just put on a YouTube video and listen to the sounds of nature. Okay, last but not least, we have inner voice. And our inner voice, I love this deck because of the affirmations. The Inner Voice Tarot, they came up with perfect affirmations for each one of the tarot cards. And let's see what we are drawn to focus on and affirm for the month of May. My greatest comfort comes from remembering my divinity. Perfect. We have the Queen of Prosperity. Queens are the nurturing element. They remind us to nurture and nourish ourselves. And the suit of prosperity is the suit of earth. And that reminds us to get really grounded and to nurture ourselves through things like spending time in nature. And spending time in nature, remembering our soul path, remembering that we are in oneness with the divine and that we are human and we are divine both at the same time. As we remember that, we bring the energy of our soul in through us and we act from that. We bring that divine love that we are into our heart space, and then we use our human personality to express that out to the world. And from that comes this great sense of comfort. And look at, we have our words up here, grounded and maternal. Now, I love that because the month of May is the month that we celebrate the energy of mothering, the energy of mothers. And even if your own mother was not an exemplary mother, we can still honor the fact that she willingly chose to bring you through so that you could have a human life. And so many mothers were wonderful, loving examples. And yet they also gave us the opportunity to have some challenges in our life. And so they have nurtured and nourished us and allowed us this great possibility to live a life here on planet Earth. I hope that you have a blessed and wonderful month of May. Please remember to call in your angels and guides, invite them to help you move on your own spiritual path so that you can grow, so that you can be a mentor and a role model, so that you can allow this positive, loving energy of who you are to flow out and bless the world. As you nurture yourself, you nurture humankind and you nurture the animal kingdom. Oh, that was something I didn't mention, is you may not have had human children, you may have had pet children. You may have had pets that you nurtured and nourished and loved and allowed to love you. That is using that mothering energy to bless the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, you might want to go back and look at April's message to see what else other than this first card you need to focus on. Okay, and actually in April's message in this first card, we did not actually focus on the same thing we focused on with this one. We did invite you to pick a chakra and focus on it. And you're still welcome to do that with this card. But this time we were more concerned with focusing on what lights you up, what blesses you, what opens your heart and expands it, because suit of water is the suit of the heart. And we always want to expand our heart because that is part of our spiritual growth. That is opening our heart to spirit, opening our heart to our own spiritual guidance. Take a little stroll outside if that's at all possible, and just honor the gift of who you are and this gift of life here on planet Earth. If this resonated with you, please leave a like and send this link to a friend. Share this joy, share this excitement with a friend. Have a blessed and wonderful month of May, and I'll see you in June. Bye for now.